Hi everyone, and thank you so much for watching my channel, The Witty Turtle. So today we are going to understand Rule 9A and Rule 9B. So this basically speaks about taxation of film producers and film distributors, right? Film producers and film distributors. So Rule 9A deals with film producers and Rule 9B deals with film distributors. So this particular rule actually relates to the provisions which speaks about in which manner the cost incurred to make a film shall be allowed or shall be written off, right? So basically we are going to understand that. Now, another thing that we need to understand is the treatment of cost incurred to produce a film or to make a film depends on two things, right? Two things. What shall be the treatment of the cost? That depends on two things. The first case is where the producer or the distributor sells all the rights of the film to another person or to another entity, right? It is said that the producer or the distributor sells it outrightly, sells all the rights to another person or another entity. And the second case talks about where the producer or the distributor himself displays the film in all or some areas, right? The first is the case where all the rights of the films are sold to another entity, and the second case is where the producer or the distributor, he keeps all the rights with himself, and he displays the film in some areas or in all the areas, right? Now, coming to the first case where all the rights of the films are sold to another entity. Let's take an example. For example, Diwani Mastani, right? For example, Diwani Mastani was, I think, produced by Sanjay Leela Bhansali. So, for example, Sanjay Leela Bhansali made the film uh, at a budget of 200 crores, for example, 200 crores. And the cost of the film was 200 crores, right? And he sold all the rights of the film to Netflix, for example, right? And he sold all the rights at a price of 800 crores. 800 crores. So in this case, 100% of the cost will be allowed in the same previous year. It will be allowed in the same previous year. This section is not very important. uh, in the last few years there wasn't much question on this, so just listen to the section, and even if an exam it comes, then you should have at least some idea on the section, right? Now, coming to the second part, where the distributor or the film producer keeps all the rights with himself, and he himself displays the film in some areas or in all the areas, right? So again, this particular second point is divided into three sub points, three cases basically, right? So the first case is that where the film is released for at least 90 days in the previous year, for minimum 90 days in the previous year. So if we calculate 90 days, then कहाँ से कहाँ तक होगा? If the film is released on or before 1st January 2022, right? We are talking about previous year 22-23. So in this case, what happens if the film is released on or before 1st January 2022, then only all the costs incurred for producing the film shall be allowed in the current previous year, right? In the current previous year. Now, coming to the second category or the second case, where it says that the film has been released for less than 90 days in the previous year. Less than 90 days मतलब कब से कब तक है? The previous year ends on 31st March, right? So if the movie or if the film was released on or after 2nd January, on or after 2nd January, then in this previous year the movie was being released for less than 90 days, right? So in this case, what happens? How much of the cost will be allowed? 100% of the cost, or whatever amount is realized from the film, right? Film ने कितना कमाया है अभी तक in this previous year, or we can say the recovery amount of the film, whichever is lower, that amount shall be allowed as a deduction. 100% of the cost, or the amount realized till date, और द मूवी ने कितना पैसा कमाया, या फिर whatever is the recovered amount from the movie. Out of these two things, whichever is lower, that amount shall be taken as a deduction, right? Now, coming to the third case, where it says that the film is not released in the previous year, in the current previous year. So, in that case, what happens? No deduction shall be allowed. Why? Because deduction will be allowed in that previous year when it is released, right? If it will be released in the next previous year, then the deduction shall be allowed in the next previous year, depending upon the period of release. If it is less than 90 days, then actual cost or amount realized, whichever is lower. And if it is more than 90 days, if the movie is released for more than 90 days, then what happens? 100% of the cost shall be allowed, right? 100% of the cost shall be allowed in the previous year, in the same previous year, right? Now, the last point in the section that we need to understand is that in case of abandoned film, abandoned film means the shooting of the film is done, but due to some reason it is not being released, or in some cases half of the shooting is done, and in the midway they have to discard it, or they have to abandon the film. So in those cases, the cost of the film is treated as a revenue expenditure, and it shall be allowed as deduction. According to the CBDT circular, it shall be treated as a revenue expenditure, and it shall be allowed as deduction, right? I hope this is clear. This section is not very, important from your exam point of view and also from your real life point of view. But yeah, just सुन लो एक बार, कान में रहना चाहिए, so that अगर question आए तो you should be able to solve this, right? If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, The Witty Turtle, and also don't forget to share this video with your CA, CMA, Inter, and final friends.